So the guys, you're right, though. They did feel bad. So the guys argued.
I hope so.
No, they go back. So they argued about whether to go back or not. Half were shaking and terrified. Mike was like, yo, we have to go back. Like, this was his best friend. And also, like, that's
You're
shitty.
driving the truck, Mike.
I know, but he was like, I don't know why he didn't just decide to go back. But they did decide to go back. So they stopped the truck and people, like a couple of the guys were freaking out. So he was like, look, if you don't want to come with me, you can stay here, build a fire to keep warm. Because it was getting cold at this point. He was like, some of us will walk back and then we'll see the firelight and we'll know where to come for the truck. But instead, they all came to their senses and decided to all go back and do the right thing. And so this had been about probably 15 minutes or so that they were arguing. They went back and the saucer was literally gone, and so was Travis. They shouted his name. They searched all over. It was really dark out now, so it was difficult because they knew that they'd seen him unconscious, so like maybe he wouldn't hear us. It's too dark to see the forest floor.
I don't know why I care, but was this before or after Travis married his sister?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was nowhere to be seen.
Not his own sister, but
yeah, Mike's sister. So Mike finally called it off and he was like, yo, we need some help because there's no way we're going to find Travis. They assumed Travis was in the woods somewhere. So now we're going back to Travis's experience. So suddenly Travis awoke. Mm-hmm. He was on the side of the highway, not where he got hit in the chest. And he could see, he opened his eyes. He was on his stomach face down. I've read two different accounts. One says he was naked. One says he was fully clothed. I don't think he ever says. I didn't find that.
He doesn't say, I'm going to guess he was naked and doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, maybe. So there was a bright light. When he opened his eyes, it was pitch black out and he could see a bright light in the distance. He was like, what just happened? Like he was coming to. It was silent. He said his legs felt super weird and he had trouble walking. And he suddenly became panicked because of what had just happened to him. He remembered it all. Like it wasn't like he woke up and was like, what happened to me? Like he had a full memory.
Oh, so very different than Betty and Barney.
So he remembered after he got hit in the chest, he remembered going unconscious and then he remembered waking up. And at first he thought he was in a hospital, but he noticed everything in the room was round and didn't have sharp edges. Kind of like the outside of the saucer. Like he's like, wow, this is a really weird hospital. Like I've never seen something like this before because we do square rooms here on Earth. Other places might do round ones. We don't know. And he felt super dizzy when he woke up and the lighting was dim. And he said just like different than what he would think a hospital would be. And he was in a tremendous amount of pain. He said when he woke up, he had a weird metallic taste in his mouth and like kept like, being like, oh, what is that? And that he felt like he was either hyper-exerted or had fallen ill. Like he felt really sick, kind of. There was a light above him and the air in the room was really hot and humid. And he said it was super muggy. He had his work clothes on, which he thought was weird. He's like, well, if I'm in the hospital, why didn't they put me in a gown? And then he was like, oh, dude, what if I'm in ER? Like, what if I'm in an operating room and they didn't have time to change my clothes? And so these kinds of thoughts were going through his head. He saw he was wearing his clothes, even his work boots, like nothing had been removed, but his shirt had been like opened and his bare chest was exposed, except it had like a metal chest plate on it. And he looked down and was like, that's weird. What is that? He was like, did I have surgery? Like, is that part of that? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, as Caitlin would say, like, what's going on? So then he saw doctors enter the room and he was like, okay, cool. I can figure out what's happening. And at this point, he was like, they must be like surgeons. And he thought it was weird because they were wearing orange hospital gowns. And he was like, that's odd that it's orange because usually it's like they're not wearing gowns like that. But then suddenly he realized it was like not human figures. So they were aliens, essentially. They were extremely pale and white. They were bald. He said they stood upright with 2 arms and 2 legs and 5 fingers on each hand. They had large eyes and they were wearing orange suits that also didn't have seams. He just kept like going back to like nothing had seams, like nothing had an ending. There were 3 of them and they were all under 5 feet tall. And Travis swung his arm to hit one because he like immediately went into fight or flight. And he said the alien felt like a sponge and it easily fell over. Like it didn't feel like solid and it was really lightweight. He jolted up. The chest plate fell off and like broke on the ground and like emitted a light. And then he grabbed an object on a table and he started threatening the aliens, swinging it at them. He said it was some weird seamless cylinder. It was just like on a table next to the table he was lying on. The aliens never made a sound, but as he lunged at them, they like jumped back and they just ran out of the room. And Travis referred to their quick retreat as anticlimactic. Like they were there and then they were just like gone. And that was it.
They are scared of us.
Yeah, they were just like, oh shit, we're leaving. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this weird human alien?
That's what I say every time I go to a party.
What's wrong with this?
Shit, we're leaving.
So the door was open still. They didn't close it. And so Travis ventured into this weird smooth hallway and he saw another door. And right now he was set on escaping. So he's like, wow, there's another door. I'm going in it. He went into this room and it was empty. Other than a single high-backed white chair that was facing away from him. So he was like, oh, is someone sitting in this creepy chair? The room was covered in posters and maps of like stars and the solar system. He approached the empty chair really cautiously, but then when he looked, there was no one sitting in it. So he's like, sweet. All the like armchair, like armrests or whatever had buttons and levers. And so he was like, maybe if I push one, like we'll crash and like I can get out of here or something. And so he pushed one and nothing happened. However, something did end up happening. Suddenly in the doorway, he heard something and he turned around and he said he saw a human. And Travis was like, what the hell is going on? It was a man about 6 feet tall. He was super muscular and he was wearing a blue tracksuit and black boots.
David Icke?
I know. I was like, turquoise tracksuits? What? Travis started immediately.
Wait, do you think there's humans who've been taken by aliens and they came upon some mutual, like, the human will stay and now they're working together?
Yes.
I never thought about that before.
Please choose us.
I'm not quite ready, but hit me up in like 10 years. Let me do a few more things on Earth and then I'm ready. Then I'm all yours.
Yeah, we might go.
I will go, but not yet. No, yeah. I would go now. I take that back. I would go now. It
depends on like if it's a contract. Like, do I get free food? Like,
I'm
what does
fucking
like?
Single and have no kids. I'll go.
I'm going to think about it. It's a turquoise tracksuit. I'm going.
I'm going.
So Travis started hurling questions at this guy, like, where am I? What are we doing? Like those kinds of things. And the man like was just stony silent, just like the aliens were. Travis said his facial expression wasn't unkind, but it like wasn't in response to anything he said. It was just like a very calm, neutral face. So the man led Travis through a door that seemed to just appear in the wall. It was a wall one moment, and then all of a sudden it was a door. And they went into an atrium kind of room. So it was a giant room, like a big warehouse, but it was glass all around. And it was bright and the air was fresh and cool. So the whole spaceship, if you will, was muggy. And so Travis was just relieved because he was like, oh my gosh, I can take a breath of air. Like, it was hard to breathe in there. The human man, led Travis down an unusually steep ramp, and they walked past other saucers that seemed to be parked in this atrium. So they went through another set of mysteriously appearing doors, and there was a table with a man and a woman wearing the same blue suits who also did not respond to anything Travis said. Travis was like, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And like literally they just had that same like calm, neutral expression. Yeah. The three of them managed to get Travis onto a table. And then the woman grabbed what appeared to be an oxygen mask and put it over Travis's face. Then he woke up on the highway. And that's all he remembers. So when he woke up on the highway, he ran to an Exxon Mobil up there. He could see one in the distance.
Okay, it actually seems like they couldn't escape, but they helped him escape. Is kind of what it seems like.
Maybe, but maybe they didn't want to escape. He sees a payphone. He dialed the operator to get a hold of his sister, and his brother-in-law answered the phone. So apparently it was already 12:05. And even though Travis felt like
Mike answers?
No, it's his sister's.
His sister's husband.
His sister's husband, yeah.
Okay.
So he felt like he was gone for 15 minutes. Like he was like, wow, it's already 12:05. Like, I feel like I was literally up there for 15 minutes. So his brother-in-law, Grant, thought it was a prank at first because Travis was hysterical and he was just like, I'm here. And he's like, yeah. It's the middle of the night. Shut up.
Right. Like, you're not missing. We're not worried about you yet.
Yeah. And then he was like, it's Travis. And Grant was like, okay, well, where are you? Like, unusually suspicious. And Travis told him. And then Grant was like, okay, I'll be right there. So when Grant pulled up, which Grant's his brother-in-law, Travis started sobbing. Like he was like uncontrollably emotional. Oh, his brother came with Grant because he had another brother too. And that's when his brother was like, you've been missing for 5 days. Where were you?
Oh, he was missing.
Yeah.
5 days?
So he felt like he was missing for 15 minutes. That's why they thought it was a prank. So he's like, I'm Travis. They're like, yeah, bullshit, you're Travis. Like, whatever.
So was there like a police like, was he actually reported missing?
Yes. So I'll get into that. 5 days had passed in the UFO, apparently. In Arizona, the town was divided about this story.
Oh, because the men had seen that? Okay. Yeah, the men had seen it.
So half the town believed these men, which I'm going to get into how they told the police and everything.
The other half thought they killed him.
The other half wanted to charge them for murder.
Yeah.
So it was the 70s and polygraphs were very much respected at this time. And the authorities had the men all take polygraphs and all of them passed, except one who didn't want to take it. But the other 6 did, or the other 5 did.
Never take a polygraph.
When the men had reached town that initial night, so when they went back, couldn't find him, they decided to go to town. They immediately called police when they got there at 7:30. So when you think about it, they left at 6. All this happened. Like, they didn't waste time.
Well, yeah, and it's not like they have cell phones or anything. Like, they have to wait.
They had to go into town. And the men were like shook. So they searched the next day when it was light out with horses, jeeps, helicopters, men on foot. Like, they had a full search of the area where they say that Travis disappeared.
Dude, every disappearance in a national park, they go out there with dogs and the scent, and they can't pick up a trace.
And there's nothing. They couldn't find anything.
I'm getting the chills.
So when Travis reappeared, he was obviously given a human medical exam. Those are for humans only, and some pets.
They didn't take him to the vet?
And the doctor said he was in good health, except noted in the report that he had an unusual injection wound from a needle on his inner elbow, but it wasn't near a vein.
Inner elbow?
Yeah, like this part where you would shoot up. I don't want anyone to think I have experience with that.
Yeah, this part where you'd shoot up.
But like that was
between your toes.
No, ew. The other thing that's odd, which I'll explain why this is odd, is that his urine had no ketones. So what that means. Travis said he hadn't eaten or drank since the day on the job. Like, he had no memory of that. And he had lost a ton of weight, actually, when they found him. And he had like a small beard after the 5 days of hair growth. When your body is in starvation mode, your urine shows something called high ketones. Like, you have a high amount of ketones. But his urine had no ketones.
My urine has lots of high key notes.
Call the musicians. Get them to play. But yeah, so they're like, well, bro, you weren't starving. Like, you had to have eaten, like, or else your urine would show that you were in starvation mode, which means it would show ketones. They had Travis take a polygraph too, but he also passed with flying saucers. Get it?
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
Like 1 second. A lot of people believe him. He's still alive, like, and kicking it in Arizona. And he goes to like Phoenix a lot to do like UFO conventions and stuff.
Can we meet him?
I mean, maybe I could write in. There are a lot of theories for people who don't believe he was abducted, which the guys all believe it. So there's 7 men who were like 100% sure that this happened and all passed polygraphs.
Where the fuck else? What are there theories? Like, where else was he?
Yeah. So one theory is that maybe he was injected with a drug as a murder attempt. Like, his colleagues like injected him with something and all came up with the story. But then why would Travis follow along with the story?
Yeah.
Another one is a murder attempt in general. But again, why would Travis follow along with the story?
Why did they leave him, and why was he like? It doesn't make any sense. And why would he
agree with everything that happened up to that?
Yeah.
The other theory is all the men had done drugs. Again, how would they all have the same hallucination? That's not how drugs work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's essentially it. Like,
I want to meet Travis.
Around. Yeah. And that's one of, if you look up like the most valid alien abduction stories, like that's one that comes up because it's one that can't really be like.
You can't write it off in other ways. Yeah.
No. Unless you say that they tried to murder him. But then again, why would Travis go with it?
Yeah.
And they all passed the polygraphs. And to this day, they're like, no, this happened. It's just crazy.
I would love to sit down with Travis and talk about this with him.
Me too.
That's insane.
He's like a grandpa type now.
Oh, I like grandpa types.
Yeah, he's real cute. He has a big mustache.
Wow,
take it out of context. Caitlin loves grandpa types. Just do it that way you will.
I love grandpa types. Wow, that was good. That was really interesting.
Thanks.
Like,
yeah.
Damn.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating story. That one really gets me. But yeah, look up Travis Walton. He does interviews and stuff on YouTube. So we do want to circle back to the Luminol Ball. If you guys want to join the Luminol Ball, it is a one-time Zoom event. It's a virtual event. It's a ball. It's a charity ball where all the money goes to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You can find more information on our Instagram page. Click on the link in our profile and you'll see a link that a little area that says Luminol Ball, and then you can click on it and everything you need to know is there.
And if you want to go, reserve your seat. If you reserve your seat, please show up because you'll be taking a seat from someone else.
Yeah, limited seating. The raffle tickets are $2 each. You can find out how to purchase those through that link. And the prizes are awesome. They're by some amazing people like Crackers and Milk Shirt Company, Milk and Crackers, so on and so forth.
And we are having a Best of the Ball contest. I think we've mentioned before, but it doesn't have to be
a ball
like
gown.
A ball gown, right? It could be Christmas pajamas, an alien costume, a turquoise tracksuit. It could be a ball gown. It could be a Halloween costume.
It can be anything, but can't be a birthday
No birthday suits.
Yep.
And we will let you know at some point who the judge will be.
Yeah. It might be us, might not. We don't know. But yeah, so check out the information. It's free to attend, but it's literally 100% of any money we get from this goes to the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. We'll match up to $100, which is fun.